Today's games are brought to you by AE Engine Media Marketing, AmericanEagle.com, Bag Tags, Bubba Burger, Bullseye CMYK, Cliff Kid, Expand-A-Brand, Front Rush, Fusionetics, Dick's Sporting Goods. Today's games are also brought to you by Major League Soccer, Nestle Nesquik, Nike, NSCAA, Positive Coaching Alliance, Premier International Tours, U.S. Soccer, Wilson Trophy Company, and Yokohama. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Frisco, Texas, site of the 2017 USYS Soccer National Championships. I'm Todd Panula, and I'm here to bring you all of today's exciting under-13 girls finals. It's all the marbles on the line here between San Diego Surf and SDFC. San Diego from San Diego, California, and SDFC from Montclair, New Jersey. So we've got coast-to-coast action, and we welcome you in no matter where you're watching from, whether you're out on the West Coast and it's only about 5 o'clock or it's 8 o'clock over on the East. We welcome you into this Turbo Sports production of the USYS Soccer National Championship. Your starters for today as we're underway here. In goal for each team, for San Diego Surf, it's Nona Reason. And for SDFC, it's Claire Headings. For SDFC, the starting lineups out in the field, there's Ava Cole, Jaden Liebman, Abigail Crispin, Juliana Ospina, Angela Nickel, Chloe Nemes, Isabella Douglas, Olivia Reel, Alea Arianes. On the flip side, starting for San Diego Surf, who are in the all-whites, countered by the yellow and black of SDFC. Again, for San Diego, it's Alexandra Moore, Maggie Titano, Presley McDonald, Chloe Green, Cosette Thistle, Ella Gianola, Emma Pitting, Acacia Edward, and Presley Wilson, and Abby Suchi. Touched out last by SDFC, so it'll be with the Surf. Once again, the Surf in their all whites with the blue numbers, black and yellow. For SDFC, the team from San Diego in possession of the ball right now as Moore comes through the center of the pitch. San Diego likes to play a fairly up-tempo game, but try to control the ball as well, not necessarily trying to go over the top too much. We'll see if they can manage to do that here today. National title on the line. These two teams have played each other already because in the under 13 groups, the teams that are invited are only enough to make up one group, so the top two teams just advance on to the finals. It was an 8-0 victory for San Diego way back on Tuesday. Here's a chance for SDFC. Trying to get it in there was Albert, but the defense was very stout. So once again, that 8-0 win came back on Tuesday. But again, it's difficult to necessarily take that and just say that's going to automatically translate into this one, because obviously SDFC had a good turnaround to their tournament to get to this spot in the first place. Here's a left-footed drive. Not a bad chance there from just inside the 18. Getting her hands safely behind it was Reason. She's going to play it short out here to the right. Surf almost with a careless giveaway as they were a little bit soft along the back line. Back and forth along the defenders, trying to find a little bit of space. Moving around here on the near sideline is Pitting, but they can't necessarily get it to her. Thistle sends it on back. And once again, they'll try to get this one upfield with the long ball this time. A slicing ball through the defense. Here comes Pitting. And coming over from the center to take that one away. The sun beginning to set over there in the distance. So some fireworks going off, perhaps over at the FC Dallas game as the MLS team is playing here at Toyota Stadium. We are just outside the stadium, in fact. It's probably only about 300-400 yards away. Had to get here early to make sure they get a decent parking spot. Working up over on the far side, Gianola takes it up, lobs it in towards the box, trying to settle it down is Pitting. Making a run here on the near wing now. Suchi had it taken away as SDFC looks to clear the line. Patience is the call from Coach Richard Bentley. So the sun, not all that difficult for the players in possession. The players here on the near side, though, trying to get some long passes will have a little bit more difficulty dealing with it. Shouldn't affect the goalkeepers too much unless you get a corner kick from the far sideline. Although, right as I say that, looking over at Nona Reason, she does have her hand up, shielding her face, so perhaps affecting her just a little bit more than her counterpart. Looks like we're going to get an early sub here coming in for San Diego Surf. Checking out was Suchi, and coming in is Allison Luo. Luo has a goal to her credit. One of 6 different players to score in this tournament for San Diego Surf. It's been kind of spread around a little bit. 1 goal apiece for Edward, Buckner, Gianola, Luo, and McDonald, but then 6 goals for Chloe Green, countered by 2 goals for Mackenzie Albert for SDFC. So goals a little harder to come by. Only 3 in the tournament for SDFC, but 2 coming in 1 game. They go quick with the corner kick, sending that one in, dealt with by the defender initially, brought down by Rio, and then her pocket was picked and going off the other way. San Diego up top, tripping over the ball, regaining it. Green loses it for just a moment. Into possession of Thistle. She sends it far sideline now. Finally cleared away by Nemes. More fireworks going on over there at Toyota Stadium. Either the goals are coming fast and furious, or they've got a interesting pregame ceremony. A tussle for it in the midfield, won by SDFC, settled down by Nickel. Going back the other way, Thistle slides one through, won't make it all the way in there. And now down. Wilson touched it up, trying to get it onto Gianola. Luo up the left-hand side. Bit of a centering ball, getting it on for Thistle. Thistle looking to return the favor. Gianola cleared away by the defender. Racing to get it now is McDonald. Spun around ever so briefly. Now they come away with possession again. Thistle lays it back all the way to the half line. Touched over here to the near side by Moore. Going around is Suchi. Suchi lays it up the near side. Edward tried to cross it in, but that was on the ground, difficult to deal with. Into the box, Thistle! And a big save there by Headings as she got down to cover the ground. Not too much she could do other than try to take away the low portion of the net. And she made a good save. Far sideline. Arrhenius threw it in. It was dealt with by the defender, so we'll do it all over again. SDFC trying to build an attack. Nickel had it bravely. Gianola. Luo set it up the sideline. Now McDonald trying to cut her way around the defender in a well-timed challenge. Try to push it in front. Off the body of one of the attackers for the Surf. As they push the reset button. Luo touches it around. McDonald runs onto it. Defender couldn't quite knock it out. Luo with the second attempt. Once again, no defender getting a piece of it. Thistle cuts it back. Trying to put it back on that right foot. Nothing doing. Gianola lobbed one in. It was off the defender, it looked like. So the goalkeeper, Claire Headings, lunging out to keep that one in play. So San Diego Surf, top of the group, coming in with a 2-0-1 record. But as proof that you can't necessarily judge every single result in and of itself, the team that San Diego Surf drew against was Lone Star. That was a 1-1 draw. That was the team that SDFC ended up defeating 2-0. Now you could make the case on the flip side of that as well that San Diego Surf might not have put as much effort into that Thursday game. As here's one into the box, a chance, they score! Acacia Edward, and it's 1-0. Edward's second goal of the tournament puts her team up 1-0 in the 13th minute. Substitute in now for SDFC. Catherine Slott comes in. Still good positive talk from Coach Bentley, wanting his team to keep their head up. Not necessarily how they drew it up during the pregame talk to have a goal scored on them in the first quarter hour. But these are the situations that you have to deal with if you want to be crowned a national champion. Couldn't have been much of a better start, though, for San Diego Surf, as it was the kind of contest that the longer it stayed even, the more momentum SDFC might have picked up. A decent ball over the right-hand side, but cut out by the defender. Left-footed shot by the recently inserted Slot. Just kind of sputtered along the ground. A good idea, but the execution wasn't quite there. Couldn't quite get the shoelaces directly through the back of the ball. Again, a lot of passing along the back line here for the Surf. Taking a spill there was the goal scorer, Edward. All the way back for more and continued on over to the far-hand side. McDonald pushed it on up. Now they're looking up top for Green. Green around the defender. Touch was a little heavy and it'll go out. So subs coming in for each team now. Into the game again, or for the first time, excuse me, for San Diego Surf is Paige Buckner. Jessica Radfar in for SDFC, also in for the Surf. Kaylin Pitt and Mara Yamuo. Back into play in the 16th minute. Taitano all the way back for more. Near side for Suchi. Pushing it up the right-hand side, making a run through is Buckner, but the pass never found its way through. Through the legs, well played. Albert pushing her way upfield, past one defender, drops it back now. Return pass, not quite there. To the far-hand side. Just dealt with by the defender rather easily. Pushed on back. Moore looks upfield. Now she'll take her time. The triangle is set up, but the defenders are in good position as well to not allow any kind of outlet passes. McDonald. A drive up towards the top for Green. Pushed on back towards the center stripe. Suchi able to deal with that one. A little too strong, though, for McDonald. Here's Albert. Slot, one-time pass. Albert picks it up. Left-footed pass to the right-hand side. Return. And blasted away by the defenders. Another switch. Going to come on now for SDFC. And checking in will be Leah Ben-David. But with that, we'll have a chance to get the hydration break in here in the 19th minute as we've just barely played 18. A little bit more about each one of these teams. Again, San Diego Surf coached by Paulie Dolinsky, countered by Richard Bentley for SDFC. A little bit of how they got here in this tournament, as I mentioned briefly during the Open. SDFC comes in with a 1-1-1 record, 4 points, 3 goals scored, 9 goals allowed. But when 8 goals come in one game, only allowing 1 the rest of the tournament hasn't been too bad. Obviously, you can increase that to 10 goals allowed now with the somewhat early goals scored against them in this contest. That's countered by San Diego Surf, who have a 2-0-1 record. They came in with 7 points, 13 goals for, and only 1 allowed, and that came in that 1-1 draw against Lone Star on Thursday. It was an 8-0 win over SDFC on Tuesday, 4-0 over Sporting Blue Valley, a team out of Kansas, on Wednesday. So it's been a solid tournament overall for San Diego Surf as they look for their 10th title as a club. Changes coming in once more for San Diego Surf. Wilson checks back in along with Pitting and Buckner. So just shy of 2 minutes during the water break. So that will likely be added on to the end of this half. Touched in, ball loose, they score! The equalizer for SDFC from Angela Nickel. What a huge goal there for Nickel. She blasted that one in from short range after the miscue along the back line for the Surf. And those are the kind of opportunities that you have to take advantage of when you are somewhat of an underdog. And SDFC doing just that, putting this one back to all square, even at 1 goal apiece. Right around 8 minutes in between goals. Edwards' goal came in the 13th minute, the 21st minute goal for Nickel. And now things are really on. And as a neutral, that's kind of what you hope to see. Obviously, each fan base would like to see this end up being a somewhat comfortable win, perhaps 3-1 or something, such like that. But as a neutral, you didn't want to see it as a runaway. So the battle back for SDFC is a pleasant development. But now it's up to San Diego Surf to find an answer. They've done well in possession, but they've kind of tinkered around with it a little bit too much. Unexpected pressure now being felt by the back line. Quick in, settled down by Nickel. Lays it back. They're trying to go over the top, but that's too far for Albert. Current temperature is 92 degrees with a decent breeze, so it's kind of cutting the humidity down, although the heat itself not scathing by any stretch of the imagination. We've had hotter. It was in the triple digits yesterday. Fortunately, we didn't have any games during that period, although the 4th game of the day did get rather warm. But reasonable conditions here for this national championship as that one is played out. San Diego Surf continuing to roll the line changes, if I may use a hockey term there, as they're coming in with 4 new players. Back into the game now, Gianola, Edward, Green. And I believe Thistle was one of the other ones to check back into the game. A dummy run allows that one to settle down. Left-footed shot, but Gianola couldn't get a good, clean strike on it. A quick outlet coming from Headings as they head off the other way. SDFC looking to spring something here as they go up top for Albert. Doesn't have much way in terms of options. So she has to kind of lay it back. Up the sideline for Slot. Return pass is going to be a little too heavy. Defender deals with it here on the near sideline. A little bit of a chop from the back, and Ben David called for the foul. Now SDFC will make a couple substitutions. Coming in is Jaden Liebman and Abigail Crispin. Both teams trying to keep the legs fresh here in this heat. Crispin couldn't quite get the touch that she wanted. The pass from Liebman goes awry. Again looking for Liebman. Now they find her as it went through the legs of the defender. Liebman's pass was intercepted, though, by Titano, one of the few players who I do not believe is checked out of this game. Defensive midfielder right now for San Diego Surf. Pushing upfield just a little bit as she sends a pass to the far wing. Now down for Green, and whistle for the handball. '26th minute. So a little under 10 to go here in the opening half. In the midfield, won by Liebman. The Surf come up the near side now. Pitting, cutting up towards the middle. Instead hands it off to Gianola. Tried to get it over to Luo. Now in for the first time for SDFC is Olivia Hoover. Time dwindling down a little bit on this first half. Just about 8 minutes left in the opening frame. Gianola had it, but only briefly. Spin move by Edward. Edward, the goal scorer for San Diego Surf. Coming back in the 13th minute. SDFC found the equalizer not too long after. Possession getting bogged up a little bit now in the midfield for both teams as they kind of trade back and forth. There'll be a few decent passes and then a giveaway. San Diego Surf trying to break the mold, and they do not, as there's another giveaway. A lob up top towards Robertson, but getting to it first is Moore. Moore again. Got away with a miscalculated pass. Taitano. Up top for Green. Green goes over to the left. She was trying to get it on to Edward. Defender was able to clear. '29th minute. Settled down by Taitano. Taitano looking for the switch. Nobody really available, so they'll set it up from the back. Surf getting a tiny bit lax at the back with some of these passes. They've managed to get away with it so far. Nothing too bad. Nothing that's cost them, of course. Comes over here to the near side for Suchi. Suchi gets it just around slot. On for Taitano. Liebman closes down. A little bit of a shoulder thrown in there by Mackenzie Albert. Be interesting to see a little bit of physicality come into this one. That one goes into touch. It will favor the Surf. Defender whiffs a little bit. Thistle gets it towards the edge of the 18. Gianola. Defender coming in with a good sliding challenge. Edward lays it back. Lobbing it back over the top. Gianola. That's actually Green. Gianola on it now. Trying to muscle her way past the defender. Edward takes it all the way towards the corner flag, trying to gain a corner kick. Instead, the service in with the right foot. Odin almost settled down for a pitting, but she lunged in just a half second too late. More subs coming in now for SDFC. As Coach Bentley keeps rolling out the fresh legs. Back into the game now will be Nickel and Olivia Reel. Also back into the game now, Allison Luo for San Diego Surf. Just about 4 minutes left in regulation here in the first half of play of the U13 Girls Championship. Sun creeping ever lower, becoming more of a distraction for myself and potentially even the fourth official a little bit. Coaches might have difficulty seeing as well. Suchi tried to send it on to the near side. Running in would have been Pitting. They lob one up top to Reel, but it will not get there. Moore. Suchi. Cuts it back. Moore just lobs one upfield. Bit of a plodding pass there. Didn't quite get where it needed to be. Moore makes up for her mistake, though, putting in a good solid right leg, keeping it away from Reel. Here's Edward, who's taken shop up here on the right side. Green muscling off the defenders. Luo couldn't quite find the handle. Too many yellow jerseys in the vicinity. Somewhat late whistle there, but the official deciding that no advantage was going to come of that one. It pulls it back. So a chance to serve this one into the box, perhaps get a touch towards goal here in the late stages. This one's going to end up being too direct. It's a little too far out if that was intended to be a shot, and not quite enough bend on it if the intention was a cross. We'll have 2 minutes of added time on the end of this one. Just touched through nicely. Green couldn't quite catch up to it after Thistle had played it forward. Lobbed over the top, trying to get it out of Green. The chance was there. The defender was close enough to kind of throw that off, so you have to give her credit. But Green somewhat disappointed with herself. Trying to play it off Suchi, coming away with it is Slot. A lot of Green in front, but coming back nicely was Edward to make a play on that ball. San Diego Surf trying to escape the danger. Picking up some speed was Edward. Goes up for Green. Dropped back. Thistle. Far side. Luo. Gianola. And that one was just out of reach. Luo on the second attempt. Watches it roll out, but she'll still have the throw. Touch towards goal and just wide, but down in a heap is Green. She is definitely in some discomfort. A great effort just to get on the end of that one. Hard to see which leg she's favoring. I initially thought it would have been the right one, but the coach will see to her, and hopefully she doesn't need any further medical attention. She has been pretty solid up in that striker role, being the holding player and kind of distributing from the middle. But unfortunately for San Diego Surf, it isn't necessarily looking all that good as she is still down on the ground. So hopefully she will be all right. It would be a disappointing end, win or lose, for her to not be able to finish this one out. And now she seems a little bit more willing to try to shake it off and potentially come back into this one. They are going to make a sub in the meantime. It looks like Paige Buckner will come in. And Green still jogging a little bit gingerly, but it looks like as long as nothing tightens up during the halftime break, she should be fine to return. And San Diego Surf definitely going to need her services with this one on a razor-thin margin right now. Time dwindling away on this half as we've played the full 2 minutes allotted in stoppage time, so anything extra is just icing on top of the cake. Pushing around the defender's slot, trying to get some space in front. Defender was able to deal with it. And there's the halftime whistle. 35 minutes plus change in the books, and nothing decided yet. Don't go too far away, fans. We'll take a quick break for your halftime, but when we come back, we'll have the second 35 in this national championship match. San Diego Surf 1, SDFC 1, everything on the line. Don't go too far. More on Turbo Sports Group after this.
Fumes, will you be satisfied with almost? Or will you dig down into the dirt, take one more step and make one more play, knowing that good enough isn't good enough, and all the blood, sweat, and tears have brought you to this moment, the moment where pain turns to greatness. On this road, nothing is given, everything is taken. On this road, winners will rise to the top. Heroes will be made. And on this road, champions will be crowned.
It was 1935, the year that Elvis and Sandy Koufax were born. It was a year of many firsts, including the first NFL draft, the first Monopoly board game went on sale, Social Security began, and Babe Ruth hit his last home run. In addition to these milestones, the National Junior Challenge Cup was founded in 1935. Offering a youth competition for young men in the United States. The cup was later named the James P. McGuire Cup, after the late U.S. soccer president who himself was quite a standout in his earlier days, winning the U.S. Open Cup in 1929. McGuire would lead U.S. soccer and earn an international reputation as an excellent leader.
The Jim McGuire Cup was started in 1935. It was the only cup that the United States Soccer Federation had for youth players. And it was a very good competition, and I can tell you, I mean, it was the highlight of my soccer career to be a champion in 1954.
This storied cup, now the oldest trophy in youth sport.
It has a history, it has a meaning, I think it has tradition. So I think it's extremely important for our competitions, for all the age groups that kind of emulate the McGuire Cup.
Winning the McGuire Cup is huge, just because all that history that comes along with the oldest trophy in youth sports period. That's really big for us.
Who will write their name in the next chapter of the storied McGuire Cup?
And welcome back to Frisco, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you back to this U13 Girls National Championship. 1-1 at the break. As we have started the second half here with SDFC in possession, at least briefly, as it's taken back by the Surf and then given up again. Nickel sends it up to Albert. Around one defender, pushing it around a second as she cuts back towards the middle of the pitch. But again, possession, a rather fleeting matter here for both teams in the early stages of this one. Not quite a full minute in yet to the second 35. Sun becoming a little more of an issue, especially for the players here on the near sideline, if it's coming from the far side or the middle. A good touch around the defender and picking up a little bit of speed here as Arrhenius lobs one in towards the 18. That's easily handled by the defender. Down for Crispin. Cole trying to put on the pressure here, able to steal it, but only briefly. Crispin pushes it back. Going up for Albert from the straightaway position. Albert around one defender, tripping over the ball a little bit, wanting to put that right foot into it. But a good diving challenge there was enough to send it over here to the near sideline. It eventually did roll out. Just had a little too much pace on it as it was rolling towards the sideline. SDFC's first attempt was easily handled. Going over the top for Green, goalkeeper Headings was confident that that one was going to roll all the way in. But good to see Chloe Green back into this one after she was a little bit shaken up to end that half. Quick re-entry now for the Surf as they push it up the left-hand side. Edward tried to put one in off the defender. It'll be a corner kick. And here's where the Sun will actually be a detriment to the attacking team. They're going to be looking directly into it. Becomes a little bit difficult to see the teammates off into the box. Although it's enough off to the right that it should be all right. Decent ball in. Heading's able to get a hand onto it, but not under control. McDonald couldn't quite bring it down. Taitano and McDonald again. Suchi over there as well, but it was touched off of her. And into touch. Slid around the side, trying to go up top to Green. Flag stayed down. Albert. Looking for a return pass. Instead, it's blasted over here to the near side. Step over move by Arrhenius. She gets it back. Douglas. Pressured. Took the ball away. Douglas gets it back. Earns herself a throw. Down for Gianola. Muscled off by the defender. Picked up by Nickel. Spinning away from pressure. Here's Arrhenius. Dealt with along the back line. Teitano gets it back just outside that center circle. SDFC trying to form a counterattack. Step over by Arrhenius. Up top to Albert. A little too firm on that first touch. Gets it back. Now Nickel with the drive floating through the air. It just kind of dipped down a little bit at the very end. If that had stayed a little more up high, it might have been easier to hang on to and possibly go in the back of the goal. Instead, it was an easy catch for Nona Reason. Bounding back into the box again. Wilson filtered on through here to the near side. Last touched by Edward. Bounding ball over the far hand side. SDFC trying to chase it down and keep it in the attacking third. Towards the top of the box, they were looking for Albert, but that one was well spotted. Moore stepping in front. Just out of the reach of Thistle. She gets it back on the second attempt. Now for Green. Gianola touches near side for Edwards. She pushes on in towards the box, and she was kind of off balance there. She sent a left footer towards the goalkeeper, but not necessarily what she would have liked. And not sure if she took a little bit of a nudge in the back or just kind of stumbled. The field is in pretty good condition overall, but the grass getting just a tiny bit lumpy, and that's not a knock on the great grounds crew that we've had here at this facility, but just the way things are going to go when you play this many games during a tournament. Held in by Arrhenius and sent away, but they'll gain themselves a corner kick. So the corner kick from the near hand side. Nickel going to take it with the left foot. Gets a good strike behind it, but too many white shirts in front. Nobody really in the vicinity of that one as Douglas was rushed just a little bit. Douglas a little bit overzealous on that challenge. So it'll be a free kick right around the center line. McDonald over to Moore. Moore gets it back as they try to make the give and go work along the far sideline. Gianola pressing over here to the near hand side. Had Edwards, instead goes a little bit more direct. Green lays it back. Gianola, space running out. Now Edwards gets it. And Edward was too quick with that one-time pass. far wing. Laid back by Pitting. Moore. Got it up the far side. And the second pass was intended, I believe, for Pitting, who was making the run. Substitute about to check in now for SDFC. Isabella Douglas will come out. And back into the game now for SDFC is Jaden Liebman. And there will be another substitute momentarily for the team from Montclair, New Jersey. The weather's starting to settle in very nicely here. As that one blasted off the defender, a good play by Pitting. Very aware of her surroundings, gaining her team a corner kick. Sun creeping ever closer to the horizon, so we'll likely finish this contest under the lights. They've had those turned on for quite a while. Back into the game again for SDFC is Catherine Slott. Left footer swinging it back towards the 6-yard area. They score! The go-ahead goal for San Diego Surf. Alexandra Moore going up for the header and coming down with the glory. So in the 47th minute, Alexandra Moore puts her team up by a goal. Now the question is whether SDFC can find another equalizer in short order. So it's up to Coach Bentley's squad now. An opportunity here, perhaps to push it to 2. Green found her way into the box, but couldn't find steady possession. And it was knocked off of Green in the end. Allison Luo and Mara Yamul came into the game moments ago as this one rolls over the near sideline. Possession back to SDFC as they're about to roll out another substitute of their own. Into the game now is Leah Ben-David. Also coming back in for San Diego Surf is Paige Buckner. Another giveaway allows the Surf to come away with possession. They trail it just a bit to Kaylin Pitt, who just came into the game. Far wing, putting on some pressure from outside. The Surf looking to increase their lead. Give it a bit of space, but the flag went up as the ball crossed the end line. It'll be a corner kick, though. And back in for SDFC is Alea Arrhenius. Left footer again. Moore was there again. The ball never quite got to her. She might have gotten a slight touch onto that one. It's difficult to tell if she was able to kind of bring it down or it went off the defender. Nevertheless, Headings able to lunge out and smother it. Solid goalkeeping overall from Claire Headings. Both goalkeepers really have played a pretty good game overall. Obviously, Nona Reason hasn't been tested quite as often. But when things have come around and she has been called upon, she has stood her ground. Nothing either goalkeeper could do about any of the 3 goals that have gone in yet. Edward getting things rolling in the 13th minute for San Diego Surf. The equalizer came in the 21st from Angela Nickel. And then in the 47th minute, Alexandra Moore putting the Surf back on top by 1. It's been a solid game, just exactly what you would want out of a national title game. Absorbing the knock was Ava Cole. Not too much in the way of help, though, as everybody was kind of standing around watching her dance around with the ball. Coming away with it was Buckner. Service towards the right-hand side. Edward, who has gone back over to that wing, pushes it off the defender. Not out yet. Finally cleared away. Over the touchline, no. "17 minutes played here in this national championship final. Second half, 2-1, a 1-goal lead for San Diego Surf. A decent idea coming over there from the right-hand side, but a little bit too direct for the striker to run onto. Lobbed over the top, decent ball from Arrhenius. Albert unable to run onto it. And now, once again, just a little bit shy of 18 minutes into this second half, we will get the hydration break. It's been a good game for both teams, but although the temperature is dropping rather noticeably, not perhaps on the temperature scale, the thermometer, but just in terms of how it feels outside. The players starting to look a little bit labored. There was one player for SDFC who came off the field in a little bit of distress, unable to catch her breath, and they're still trying to kind of work with her and get her to calm down. So hopefully that will be something that's worked out and she will be all right. A little bit looser right now over on the sideline for San Diego Surf. Obviously having a goal lead is going to do that for you. If it was still 1-1, perhaps a tiny bit more seriousness. Not to say that they're not fully intent on putting forth their best effort in this one, because they have done just that. But just a little bit looser, a little bit lighter, more levity seen in their faces, whereas SDFC slightly more serious, knowing that they have quite a job to do in front of them just to get this one knotted back up. So we restart play about 90 seconds after we began that water break. Loose into the box. Defenders didn't deal with it initially, but second chance, and they are able to clear it up. Just out of the reach of Catherine Slott. She's able to race onto it and collect it. Good battle for it over on the far side touchline. Blasted away by Moore. Liebman couldn't come up with it. SDFC trying to avert the pressure here as the physicality is starting to pick up. The slide challenge came just a bit too much from the side for the referee's liking. And Jessica Radfar will draw the foul. So she's a little bit shaken up, so she will have to come out of the game. Walking rather gingerly to come off, and that will allow Isabella Douglas back in. And now she's actually not wanting to put much weight on that leg, so fortunately for her, there is a member of the medical staff. And my mistake, I saw the number 4, but it was actually Arrhenius who got the worst of that challenge. Nickel trying to lob one over the top. Sun becoming rather pesky for us over here on the near sideline. Edward slides a good ball up top for Green. Green with the left foot towards the middle of the pitch. Lobs back in towards the top of the 18, intended for Buckner, didn't quite get there. Now it's turn and shoot. Headings was able to get her hands in safely behind. Picked up by Radfar. Lobbed back up in the air, intended for Albert. The defender was able to get just enough of it to throw that off its initial line. A cheeky little touch there, intended over here for the far side, but not enough steam on it to get it to Buckner. Thistle switching the point of attack. Back on now for Pitting. Tried to lay it back for Yamul. Nothing doing there. Good physical challenges here. Nothing dirty, nothing overzealous. A few that have been just a tiny bit over the line have been called by the official, but it's been a good, clean game for both teams. Albert doing a good job of stepping in front of that one. Now she's trying to find a bit of space. She's got a little bit of help here on the near side. Instead, just kind of thrust that one towards goal, and it wasn't quite on. Settled down, pushed over here to the near side. Shot taken! That one went off the defender and out. So the corner kick come from the near-hand side. Subs ready for both teams. It looks like San Diego is going to take theirs now. SDFC will wait till the next stoppage. Coming back into the game is Ella Gianola and Acacia Edwards. A chance here for SDFC. There's just about 10 minutes left to go in regulation. Chloe Nemes was able to get a piece of that one. A decent job to get on the end of it. Back into the game now is Olivia Reel. In the center circle, Thistle had her pocket picked. Liebman. They tried to filter it through the left-hand side to get it up top to Albert, but that one well spotted. The counterattack over on the far sideline. Green, now space in front, all alone, and a right-footed shot scuffing it was Buckner. As soon as she struck it, she put her hands up to her face in disbelief. One-touch play. Here comes Arrhenius. Off the defender initially, almost one back. Liebman will get a piece of it. Kept alive by Cole. Now they take it towards the edge of the 18. And Reel just couldn't get it under control enough to unleash the shot. Almost a miscue there. Reel again. A little too hard off the thigh. Arrhenius was looking for Liebman, a little too tall. And now Pitt up the sideline. Buckner. Pitt again. That pass was rather ambitious. Tried to play the give and go between Arrhenius and Douglas, but the pass forward was just a bit too much. Right-hand side now, running onto it is Presley Wilson. Green tried to lay it back. Defender got it. Goes into touch. More subs coming. Ball back into play too quickly to get the subs in this time. Rolls in towards the keeper. Good defending in the end by Douglas as she was able to push Buckner off just enough to keep her away from that ball. Albert with the good settle. Back for Liebman. On the counter. Coming near side for Buckner. She wants to push it back inside. Miscommunication there between Green and Gianola. Neither one went for the ball on the initial attempt. Again for Buckner. Laid on for Pitt. Touched around the defender. Pitt charging towards that corner flag. Serves one in towards the box. Towards the edge of the 18. Just too hot to handle for Gianola. Teitano. Again to the top of the box. Served near side. Pitt. One time in. That one was blocked. Ball still loose in the area. Gianola trying to keep it alive. Got it back after it was initially blocked. Pitt over for Teitano. Into the box. Defender dealt with it. Still not away from pressure, though. Things beginning to mount here for San Diego Surf. They are really starting to put a stranglehold onto this one. Only up by a goal. Still everything to play for. Left-footed shot came in. That was blocked by the defender. Still not cleared away from pressure. Touch back towards the keeper. She couldn't pick it up as it was played with purpose by her teammate. A wise decision there by Headings to just blast that one away. Now a decent ball in. Albert trying to chase it down, but Moore deciding to let her teammates come back and help out and just blast that one away. More fresh legs running out here for San Diego Surf as they seek their 10th championship as a club. Back into the game is Suchi and Yamul. Throw in for SDFC. Took a couple flicks on the way. Nobody controlling it. All the way up to the middle third for Green. Lobbed over to the far hand side. Edward finally gets it under control. Pushes around the defenders. Going to stay in if she's got the wheels to catch up to it. Radfar just had to dive at that one and knock it out. Again, solid decisions here by the defenders for both teams. Obviously, you don't like to give up these throw-ins, either corner kicks, in these situations. But in the end, you do have to make a decision about what is better, to keep it in play or to let your defenders come back and help you out. Another sub coming in now for San Diego Surf. So they're trying to kill off just a little bit of time here. No word on stoppage time yet, as there's only about 3 minutes left in regulation. Back into the game, Emma Pitting. Good lofted ball. And we get a foul. Not sure if it was on the goalkeeper one way or the other. It's going to be coming out. Taitano trying to kill off some time here. You're going to see a lot of this here in the late stages. San Diego Surf is going to seek out a goal if they can find it, but pushing it towards that corner flag will be just as satisfactory. Another sub coming in, and that's going to be another tactic utilized by Coach Dolinsky. Back in is Gianola. Unofficially, 90 seconds left in regulation. You would figure there'll be about 2 minutes added on for the water break. Slicing one through, trying to run onto it is Real. Defender able to push it around her, but not with possession. Arrhenius able to keep it in. Serving one in towards the box. It was a good ball. They had Liebman right there around the penalty spot. Gianola put it right into the attacker, trying to get it through to Albert. And Moore was able to deal with it, averting the danger at least briefly. Green. It goes into touch. Throw in for SDFC with time ticking away. Both teams trying to get substitutes in here. Edward coming back in for San Diego Surf. And also in is Olivia Hoover for SDFC. 2-1 your score. National championship on the line. There will be 3 minutes of additional time on the end of this one. So plenty of time for SDFC if they can mount some good possession, just like this. Now Liebman got a bit of Green in front, but she sent it towards goal, And Reason, not necessarily the cleanest of slides there as she came out to grab that one. Perhaps jostling the shoulder a little bit, but she's tough. She's going to shake that one off. Gianola dropped it for Thistle. Instead, it's intercepted. SDFC just banging it up towards the forward line. Albert couldn't corral it. Moore will step over. Blasting it the other way. And obviously, if you're San Diego Surf, you'd like to keep that one in play, let it roll on a little bit, make the defenders work for it. But every stoppage really is a win for San Diego Surf. Playing it off of one of the SDFC players. That will allow more time to tick off. 1 minute in here into stoppage time. A reported 3 minutes, so that means we should have about 2 left, give or take. Hoover sends it back the other way. Settled down by Nickel. She's got the lone goal right now for SDFC. Through the middle. Plenty of space out here to the left if they want to take advantage of it. Slid on through, going in towards the box. Chance here, past the defender. Nothing but net. They score! Surely the national championship in the books now for San Diego Surf. A fantastic bit of finishing in stoppage time. Chloe Green might have just put the nail in the coffin. So 3-1 your score, and now it's a monumental task for SDFC to try to come back in this one. An attempt here, taken down. Ref says the ball was gained. That would have been the last gasp for SDFC, perhaps if they could have gotten this one, or that one as a penalty, I should say. Green touching around the defender. Now looking for another one, takes a left footer. Ball was spilled, but still saved by Headings. Set up, the ref's arm goes up, whistle goes, and national champions, San Diego Surf. It's going out to the West Coast. A valiant effort by all who played in this game. You have to give it up for everyone here. Everyone poured their hearts out into this one. SDFC obviously coming up a little bit short, but they gave it a valiant effort. A much better effort than we saw from them back on Tuesday, where they lost 8-0 to this very same San Diego team. They made it close, but ultimately close was not good enough as the cream rose to the top. And San Diego Surf have won a national title. The 10th championship for San Diego Surf as a club, and one that these girls are going to remember for quite some time. Always good to see this kind of sportsmanship as they line up and congratulate each other. Some hugs handed out. Some tears being shed for SDFC, but once they get home and kind of have time to process everything, they're going to have to feel pretty good about themselves because they really put forth an excellent effort in this one. San Diego was just a little too much. The jubilant Surf players rushing over here to the near sideline as they want to collect their championship gear and pick up their trophy as well. Don't go too far. We will carry the trophy presentation, which should be coming up shortly. And if you're just a fan of the game, make sure to tune in as a couple Gatorade baths doled out there. They didn't necessarily get the coaches as much as they'd like. Finally, they get them. It chugs a bit too heavy for some of the players. Not necessarily the height to get it up. But, again, if you're just a fan of soccer, the tournament isn't quite over. Obviously, it is for these girls. But we still have some more championships to hand out come tomorrow. And make sure to tune in to tournaments.usyouthsoccer.com or .org. I always mess that up one or two times. It's tournaments.usyouthsoccer.org. That is the official tournament page. And you can follow all the results there, find out who's winning what. You'll also get links to these live streams. So if you want to check out some of the national championship games tomorrow, they begin once again at 7 o'clock Central Time. Some of the fans for SDFC have made their way over here to the near sideline and given their players a round of applause as they are donning the yellow ribbons to support SDFC Yellow. And again, as I've said a couple times, they played a very good game. They couldn't necessarily get themselves in a spot to get a whole lot of finishes, but a solid game overall for them. San Diego FC made the most out of their attempts as they're over there on that far sideline. They're far from my position. They're on the near side, obviously. National champions. So the parents, obviously extremely happy. The fans, family members, as they are giving each other hugs as they've gone through this journey right along with all their daughters. And nieces, cousins, I'm sure there's just about the whole gambit. Everybody kind of milling about over here on the sideline. So now photo opportunities with the newly crowned national champions for the under 13 girls bracket, the San Diego Surf. So as the players unite with their families, we will leave you with that scene. Once again, San Diego Surf 3, SDFC 1. San Diego Surf for national championships. We'll leave you with these last few moments with the players and their families. For everybody here at Turbo Sports, for Scott Cheney, for our great camera crew, I'm Todd Panula. Hopefully you enjoyed this national championship, and we will see you next time.